In your face, all over the place. We're online 24/7. 24/7. You're listening to the hottest internet station.
From beautiful Saline in southeastern Michigan.
Around the world at sunskyMysteries.com.
This is the 2009 Top 10 Webcam in the World winner. This is SETB.
This message is transmitted at the request of the United States Office of Civil Defense. At 3:40 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, NORAD detected a long-range nuclear missile launch in North Korea. This missile is believed to be headed in the direction of the Los Angeles metropolitan area. It is believed that it will impact this area within the next 1.5 to 2 hours. All residents within a 400-mile radius of this area should seek a fallout shelter immediately.
Well, good evening, everybody. Bill Sam here. I've been off a few days because I have been quite ill. I am still quite ill, but I wanted to do a show tonight. We're only going to do one story because I am still very, very under the weather. Because apparently they totally missed me with the heart attack gun, and instead have given me some type of a heebie-jeebie infection that has a little bit of a story to go with it. So I'm going to tell you about that. Go to the doctor. I hurt here and here, and I'm having trouble breathing now. And he goes, well, you got this thing's broken and that thing's broken, so we're going to do some x-rays, and you got some kind of a lung infection. Might be bacterial pneumonia. Could be viral pneumonia. Going to give you these antibiotics and send you on your way. And by the way, we're going to give you that nice codeine cough medicine too. So he sends it off to the pharmacy. And so I go down to the pharmacy to pick up my medications. And he gives me the medication, and I pay for it and come back home. And well, the antibiotics, I start taking those, and they haven't really kicked in apparently, so there hasn't made much of a difference at this point. We still think it's probably a viral infection as opposed to bacterial. But at any rate, get all my medications home and everything, and I take some of this cough medicine, and about 35 minutes later, I am sweating so hard that all my clothes are completely wet. I'm sitting in front of a fan. It's like 70 degrees outside. I'm outside in front of a fan. I'm still sweating. I got these flophouse sweats. I'm shaking. I get a headache. I'm starting to vomit. And it just basically went downhill from there. My heart's racing. Starting to get a little bit of chest pains and stuff, so I took a couple aspirin to help get rid of that. So went back to the pharmacy this morning and I said, hey man, look, I got 2 bottles of this cough medicine stuff. Bottle A, I've had since the last time I had the flu, and tastes like cherries. Works real good. Not a problem. This stuff that you have here, they gave me when I came in to fill this prescription. This stuff tastes horrible, and it made me sick. And he goes, you know, that's kind of funny. It came from a brand new source, and it showed up like 5 minutes before you came in to pick up the medicine. Showed up right after your prescription got here, and so I filled it with that. You know, I'm sorry. He takes the medication and puts the new stuff in a box and fills my prescription from the old one, and everything's been okay ever since. So you can take that for what you want. But the new type of cough medicine that I always get when I get this lung stuff is made me deathly ill. Heart racing and everything else. I almost went to the hospital last night. Came this close. But I was too sick to drive, and I didn't feel like giving the neighbors the spectacle of having an ambulance parked out front with the attendant flashing lights and everything else. So I said, screw that, and today I feel, I don't know, pretty much as crappy as I have been for the past week. Of course, it's been pretty bad. I'm not exactly a happy camper, but a lot of people have been asking me about what's going on with the show, why we haven't been doing shows, stuff like that. So thought I'd go ahead and do a quick show tonight. I'm only going to do one story tonight because I am quite a bit under the weather right now. So, and of course I'm drinking a ton of my own purified water that we make here in the facilities, because we got one of those Berkey filter things. Okay, now you know, putting together threads like macrame over the past week or so. If you didn't watch those shows, I invite you to head over to the Illuminati YouTube channel and go ahead and take a look at those shows where I'm putting the threads together. Specifically, right now what we're looking at, so we're looking at sinkholes. So remember, I think it was the second time that Cliff High was on the show. He the WebBot report that came out. He was talking about sinkholes because he's big into the expanding Earth theory. The Earth expands, goes through periods of expansion, things like that. So, okay, he's talking about sinkholes. The other night we talked about in the past month or so, just the ones that we've been able to find, 400 sinkholes have opened up in various places. Now, this latest one is extremely interesting because it is very, very dangerous. I don't know if you've heard about it. I don't know if you have heard about it, if you've put two and two together yet. But this all fits together. Let's go over here and take a look at the screen here. Here's a couple of photos of this particular sinkhole right here. This is in Assumption Parish, down there in Louisiana, I believe. Now, for those of you that don't know, and I haven't, you have to pardon me while the Illuminati screw with our audio signal there. There we go. Let's see him get into that laptop again, because it's not hooked up to the internet anymore. So good luck screwing around with us that way. At any rate, now that I've taken the laptop offline and we're just using the audio board, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I don't know if you've heard about it. It's been on CNN, I believe, but they have evacuated the residents, and they're saying it'll be for up to a month. I believe, from what I've been seeing, what's going on there, that this is going to be a lot longer than a month. Because when you start tying things together, when you start putting the threads together, you come up with something that's very disturbing. Now, as you know, I'm all over the internet. I usually have links to stories and everything, and I just haven't been feeling good enough to do due diligence on that, but I have a short commentary here. Now, you remember the oil spill out in the Gulf, right? You remember that oil spill, the Deepwater Horizon, and you know, oil coming up, and they're throwing the chemicals out there and everything, and it shut down the Gulf Stream, and Gulf Stream got weak and then came back, then got weak again, and blah, blah, blah. I don't know if you remember it, but at the time, there was a lot of frozen methane down there, methane, down at the bottom of this wellhead. And there were some scientists that were doing investigative work on this, and as you recall, at least one of them had a mystery heart attack. Go figure. So, we've been working on this here, and I got sick before I started working on this, so there's no connection between the two. Now you remember, during the oil spill, there was a frozen methane bubble. I don't have a photograph of the wellhead. You'll have to find that for yourself. There were some engineers, certain engineers, and a lot of them are dead now, heart attacks, were talking about that even if they were able to cap the well, the pressure of the natural gas had been released, and it's going to find its way to the surface by the path of least resistance. And I know what you're saying, but Bill, this Deepwater Horizon and this Louisiana, they're quite a ways apart. There's some distance between them. You got to remember this, folks, that entire area, even up here in Michigan, there are salt caverns all over the place under there. Now that oil and that methane coming from somewhere, coming from deep inside the earth. Now obviously there was an issue with the oil wellhead, and they released some of the methane, some of the pressure. And about a month ago, probably more than a month ago now, maybe a month and a half ago, we started getting stories about the methane bubbling up from under the ground and houses moving on their foundations and stuff down there. Excuse me. I'm going to have to make this quick because my voice is going because of my illness here. You remember the foundations are moving and stuff like that, and this is the end result of that particular story. I didn't know if you knew that. So this methane is coming up, and the methane is now moving around, and this sinkhole is now getting the effects of other areas underneath the ground. I'm not phrasing that right because my thought patterns aren't exactly correct. Okay. The United States government did some nuclear testing in some of the salt brine caverns down there. Okay. The sinkhole has breached that, so now it's got the radioactivity from the nuclear testing. So now you got the methane, and now you got the radioactivity. It breached another water-filled salt dome, and what they do is to keep the salt from dissolving and everything and getting the ground to collapse is when they backfill it with water, they put diesel fuel at the top, because the diesel fuel floats at the top and coats the salt. Well, now it's gone into that salt cavern, and that's added to the sinkhole. So now you've got the methane, the radioactivity, and the diesel fuel mixed in with it. Now, it's about 1,000 feet away from a butane-filled cavern. Okay, this butane-filled cavern makes this combination even more deadly. Now, the reports that I've seen, and I don't know if any of this is accurate. I can't speak to that. I haven't been able to find any secondary sources. This is only one source. If this ignites, all it's going to take is a strike of lightning, a false flag type of thing. But if this stuff ignites, theory has it, with all this methane that's under there, and remember, methane is a far more potent greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide is, hundreds of times more potent. If the methane comes up and gets into the air, oh, Katie, bar the door, because that's going to be the biggest greenhouse effect you ever saw in your whole life. That's going to change the whole planet. But be that as it may, if all of this explodes, this butane, the methane, the diesel fuel, radioactivity, I have been told it's going to be around the power of 1.5 of our B-83 hydrogen bombs. And that's a fairly large hydrogen bomb. It's from the, I think it's from the 1960s. But it is going to be a hell of an explosion, a giant explosion. However, we need to mix something else into this. The Weeks Island. Have you ever heard of Weeks Island? That is where the National Petroleum Reserve is, in another salt cavern. You'll never guess where the sinkhole's getting close to. So, this thing could explode. Now you got the methane, diesel fuel, the radioactivity, the butane, and the National Petroleum Reserve. So, this thing goes off. Can you imagine this explosion at the edge of the Gulf and what type of tsunami it may create from the ensuing explosion? Can you imagine what that would do to the oil refineries down there on the Gulf Coast? And since we really don't have any spare capacity that we can use, all of a sudden, well, we'd be without the ability to refine oil for fuel. And with the little World War III garbage that's coming up over there in the Middle East, the military is going to need fuel a whole lot more than we are. So you can imagine what's going to happen to the fuel supply as well as the price of the fuel supply. And that would be pretty devastating. And I am going to stop my thought pattern there before I get myself into a whole lot more trouble. And then they're going to be shooting even more diseases at me with the heart attack gun. So, at any rate, that's about it for tonight. I am pretty much used up my strength and my thought patterns here. So, we will attempt to do another show tomorrow night on Wednesday. Hopefully this show has given you a little bit to chew on. And what I'll do is I'll set this show to repeat overnight so you can send your friends over here to see what a sick media star looks like. That'd be me, Bill Sam. And y'all can have a good laugh at how I'm attempting to put two thoughts together and come up with a coherent sentence, which so far doesn't seem to be working at this point. So, my name's Bill Zam. Thank you for stopping by. Tomorrow night I'll see if I can be on the air a little bit longer. Like I said, this show is going to start to repeat, and we'll get it loaded up onto YouTube probably tomorrow or the next day or something like that, so they can get well and truly even more pissed off at me. So, we'll see you tomorrow night or thereabouts, and I appreciate everybody sending me your emails, your concerns over my well-being, but it's the way it goes. What can you do? My name is Bill Sam. Have a good evening. Thanks for showing up.